things on WhatsApp. We are sharing a lot of things on messages. In the same way, whatever your project is concerned, through this project you can make all sharing with your group, with the stakeholders, with the community. Now, second point is, as I told before, that I talked about the podcasting. Now, what podcasting, as I told before, that audio files and video files, and these audio files and video files you can make an archives. For example, you are having a 16 GB mobile phone, and in the 16 GB mobile phone you want to create your own archives related to certain videos. For example, I will give an example, that parts of speech, you want to know parts of speech. So you go in YouTube and you write podcasting related to parts of speech, and when you find those podcasts, you download it and you create your own video. You create your own folders, and in that folder, whatever the podcast you have downloaded from TeacherTube, Vimeo or YouTube, whenever you want to see, you can have an access to it as such. And when you in the YouTube or Vimeo, you will be finding playlist also. What is a playlist? When you press the button of playlist, you are going to find hundreds of videos related to the topic which you have typed. So I think so that that the student at home can have an access to the video and master whatever the content they want to have as such. And I think so that that when the student use the podcast, then I think so that that they will be only sharing the difficulties with the teachers. They will not be learning from the teacher, because whatever the learning in the classroom is concerned, they can learn through these videos as such. But that creative art should be there with the student to use the e-communication technology related to certain topics which will be giving the power of e-communication. No question about it as such. Now, as I told that that they are the audio files, and podcast can be video or audio, and as I told before that that through your mobile phone, the student should create their own videos. For example, they have gone through parts of speech. They have watched the videos numbers of time as such. Now, when they have watched numbers of time, they will be having the power to communicate. And when it comes to communicate, it is not the things only writing on the blogs as such. You create your own videos, you share those videos on WhatsApp, or you can download those videos on YouTube. That is very important thing. We have seen that that the students and teachers are technophobic. Technophobic means they are fearing with the technology. I have downloaded numbers of videos. I have uploaded and downloaded number of videos, and these videos, rules of language teaching. I am having more than 100 videos prepared of myself, and I have downloaded on YouTube. So it is very important thing is that that when the teachers or students are preparing their own videos, the level of confidence will be rising, and it is important thing in the, as far as e-communication or the 21st world technology is concerned. It is very important thing is that that collaboration and sharing is a very important part of it. I know certain things, but I don't share. My knowledge will be just confined to myself. But I know certain things. I write. I make an audios, I make the videos, I share with the world. So whatever my knowledge is concerned, it will be shared throughout the world. Graham Bell made telephone. Now, if that knowledge he would have just made a confined to himself, probably we would not have talked throughout the world as such. So whatever the things known by the teacher or the peer learning means sharing among the students. The technology has to be shared. Whatever the latest applications are concerned, that has to be shared in e-communication, and that is the advantages, and that is the process of authentic or the real learning. Now, next is when we talk about the podcast, as I told you before that that iTunes, you will be finding the iTunes on iOS. There are two platforms, the major platform. There are numbers of platforms on net. But there are two major platforms. One is iOS and second is Android. Okay. Now, when I'm talking of iTunes, you can download numbers of videos through iTunes. And when you have to download on Android, you can download the numbers of videos and audios through Android also. But when I'm talking of iTunes, it is just confined to Mac and iPad, iPod, and Mac. These are the three things which through iTunes you can download numbers of things as such. But unfortunately, in India, Apple is not much used as such. We are using much Android as such. But as far as iTunes is concerned, it is number one application for downloading the audio or video files as such. It will definitely going to facilitate the thing. Now, discussion boards or forums. Now, as I told before that, that when I talk about the discussion boards or forums, they are the bulletin board online to communicate or to discussions between various people as such. And discussion means that that whatever, for example, in group discussion you have to discuss certain topics. Now this is a platform where you can make a communication. You can create your own identity by either creating a group or in adding in one of the groups as such. And when you are added in this group or when you created the group, this online community will giving us the opportunity for making a very wide based communication as such. So I think so that discussion board, either we have to create a discussion board or we have to be a part of group. And when I talk of discussion board, WhatsApp is a one form of discussion board, Skype is another form of discussion board, blog is another form of discussion board, podcasting is another form of. There are numbers of discussion board where you can make the communication. Now, who use the discussion board? The students, the teachers. Even in the business also the discussion board is used. And what are the topics related to discussion? Now, when I want to learn the language, I will be creating the discussion form related to ELT, English Language Teaching, or facilitation of English language, or English language teaching in the worldwide forums. I will be giving the name of my discussion form. And in the discussion board, what will happen? The student who are interested in the topic, they are going to join me. And this is the way, I will be creating a community. And this community will definitely be giving me the facilitation of language learning as such. So discussion board means the stakeholders or the sharing of the common people with the common subject. Now next is text messages. Now text messages, since 20 years we are using the text messages as such. But as far as messaging is concerned, nowadays it has become very innovative. And this innovation, nowadays hardly any youngster who may not be using the text messages as such. But those text messages, as I told you before, that these text messages should be innovative. These text messages should be in the form of images. This text messages should be in the form of audios. This text message should be in the form of videos. And sharing the comprehensible input. Comprehensible input means understanding of the language of the topic. That is comprehensible input. And second thing is, it should be related to our curricula. It should be related to our syllabus. It should be related to whatever we are learning in the class. Now this type of, a professional in the engineering, in medical college, when I used to take a lecture, I am seeing that, that they are communicating or related to whatever the learning takes place in the community, in the schools, in the colleges. But unfortunately, in a BA, BCom, these classes hardly I am seeing that, that the students are related, they are sharing related to their curriculum. Now I think so that, that the role of the teacher is to be that, that the text should be authentic, the text should be related to syllabus, the text should be related to what has been taught in the class, and the text should be related to whatever the academic pursuits what they are going through, instead of gossiping and talking on it as such. So that way, I think so that, the text messages, this type of text messages is going to help a student a lot. Okay. And the student, for example, learning in F5 BCom, they should introduce themselves through text. They should write short messages. They should, whatever the activities they are doing, they should talk about it as such. even some social factor are to be included, so that they may be improving the languages. So all sort of things will give you the power through text messages. It will be giving the power of understanding, writing, reading, and communicating the language. And text messages, as I told before, that that a group of text messages has to be created for making the language learning plausible and making learning effective. Now, emailing. Now, email is, I think so that that 30 years have happened that that we are in emails as such. But in colleges, when I'm asking the student that how many students are having email, I'm finding that only 10-20% they may be having the emails, and that too they are not using frequently. Email is a platform where the student can have an access to write long letters. Whatever they are learning, whatever they are going through the academics, they can share with the student. And as I told before that when you are talking about communication, it is not only about the writing practice, but it is about using the technology in day-to-day life. When I'm talking the use of technology, it means improving the technology, using the technology, using the language, having a good effective language, and developing the soft skills, and having a good confidence over the communication. These are the multi-factors through which the student can, if they have an access to language learning through emails, it is going to help them tremendously. That is very important thing. And I think so that that when we are talking of using the email in the classroom, the teacher should take the initiative. The teacher should create a group emails, and in group emails, whatever the things which are to be taught the other day, the teacher should give the tips. The teacher should give certain props that these are the things what the teacher is going to take the next. So what will happen that that as we call it that charity begins from home. In the same way, when the teachers are using the technology, the students are going to follow. The students are going to imitate the teachers. That is very important part. When I say use technology, and when I'm not using technology, what will happen? The student will not be impressed. He will not be influenced. But when I am using the technology in class, this e-communication, the students are going to follow suit. They are going to imitate me, and the students are inquisitive. But the first thing is that when I am using the e-communication things, the students are going to follow. So initially I have to begin with it, and I think so that that email is a good platform. Initially, email is a good, and we are lucky, we are fortunate that that as far as all the platforms are concerned, they are free of charge. Podcasting is free of charge. Emailing is free of charge. Twitter is free of charge. WhatsApp is free of charge. Skype is free of charge. When I talk about free of charge, we have to pay a very small amount of money on Wi-Fi. If you spend 300 or 400 rupees per month, you can get unlimited Wi-Fi connection through BSNL. And we can communicate throughout the month as such. So utilization and improvisation, innovation, all these factors are important to improve the e-communication. And when we are doing this thing, we are giving the Samaritan services to our society. That is very important thing as such. Now, electronic communication, recall components of electronic communication. Okay. Now, this was my lecture, and I think so that that whatever I have talked about, I think so that that the implementation of thing, as I told before, my first sentence was that it should not be abstract. It should not be only the lip services, but following of the things are very important thing in our day-to-day life. And it's very important thing is that that first of all the teacher should create a community, and teachers should communicate with one another, and afterwards when they find a little bit of confidence, this communication should be percolated. It should go downside to the students, so that the confidence level of teachers should be shared with the confidence level of the students. That is very important thing as such. And we are having, when we talk about the communication, we are having in our every colleges, we are having projectors, and we are having the language labs. Now these are also, through these resources also we can improve our communication. Unfortunately, what we have seen that that in our language lab, we are seeing that there is a stacks of dust, and the teachers are not using, and the teachers are not giving this services to the students, and the teachers are getting ample of time in college, and utilization of whatever the devices which have been given by the government. It is very, very important thing that that teachers should utilize for developing the e-communication. Otherwise, we will not be able to justify with our students, and there will be some guilt when we retire, that that we have not been able to develop the e-communication by utilizing various devices, or utilization of the time at the disposal of our teachers. Thank you very much.
SANDHAN, All Gujarat Integrated Classroom.
સેટેલાઇટના માધ્યમથી જોડતી કડી એટલે સંધાન.